Hi everyone, Lavending here. Today I thought we could make a friendship bracelet together, hopefully. I say we because I'm hoping that you're gonna follow along and do this with me. So I'm just sorting through the colors, trying to find... I know what pattern I want to do. I want to do like a friendship heart bracelet, but I'm just trying to find the right color. I bought a giant bag off Amazon, so I have a lot. So I'm looking at this kind of muted purple and maybe like a gray or a white. I'm not quite. I was just kind of debating between the two, but I end up going with white, just because I think white is more like the theme of this channel, I guess. I feel like purple and white makes sense to have as like the friendship bracelet for like, I guess for this channel. Not quite sure how that works, but I guess maybe this is like the official Lavending bracelet. So the way that I cut these is I'm trying to get the tangles out and failing miserably. But the way that I cut these is I take one end and I pull my arm all the way out, and then I cut it right about where it would hit the other shoulder. So that's what I'm doing here, and then I'm just, once you cut one, you can kind of just measure it based off of the other one that you, like the ones that you've already cut, and just kind of make sure they're all even. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then once I've done that, I will go ahead and tie it together and get started. Yep, there's all of them cut. Alright, so if you haven't made a friendship bracelet before, then I guess this is kind of a tutorial. So first I'm just gonna put that knot in the beginning, and I like to make my friendship bracelets so that I can like adjust the sizing of them. So in order to do that, instead of like immediately starting the pattern, I'll split the strands into two groups, and then I twist them together. I'll show you how to do this later in the video. It's hard to do the first one. The second one is much easier to do. So once you've done that, just put another knot in. Great. And it's time to start following the pattern. This is maybe, I don't know. This pattern wasn't very difficult for me, but I also have made friendship bracelets using a pattern before. If you haven't, this is going to be an interesting adventure. So you can see the pattern I'm using on the right here. And I know that looks maybe a little scary if you've never looked at one before. But basically, you're just going to go line by line, and you're sort of... There's two knots you do in a friendship bracelet. You're either... I don't know exactly what they're called, so I'm so sorry. This is a terrible tutorial. But you'll either have... When you make a friendship bracelet knot, you have like a figure four, sort of, and then you pull it through. So it is just really telling you which side the figure four goes on. So... if you want to go to the right first, your figure four is on the left, and if you want to go to the left, your figure four is on the right. So like for that first, this is such a bad tutorial, for the first like line, that first knot on the left is you would do a figure four on the left so that you're going right, and then to like finish the knot, you do a figure four on the right to go to the left. And you just kind of will follow that pattern all the way through. So the next knot would be 2 figure fours on the left to go right. The next one would be 2 figure fours on the right to go left, and then a figure four to the right, and then a figure four to the left. Maybe that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm so sorry. There's a lot of tutorials that'll teach you how to read these patterns better than I can. But if you know how to do them, then great. This is not helpful, but maybe we'll have a friendship bracelet that's the same. Oh, I probably should have said that. Okay, so for the purple, so this pattern has different colors than the colors that I'm using. I'm using white as black, so white is my A strand, and then I'm using the purple as my B strand. Sick. So I think I'm getting to the point where I've finished my first, like, run through of this pattern. I did it for a total of 12 times. I was shooting for 13 because that's how many songs there are on the album. Go stream my album when it's out. But, you know, sometimes you cut the strings a little short and it's not gonna make it. So, I don't know, the last heart, use your imagination. Draw it on your arm, it's in your heart, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I guess kind of just keep doing that. I thought friendship bracelets might be kind of fun because, I don't know, I didn't start making friendship bracelets over quarantine, but like I kind of like had a lot more time to do them than I otherwise would have. And so I kind of started to like do patterns and stuff, and I was like, this would be kind of fun. Oh, yep, so there's that finished first pattern of the heart. And then some real speedy footage of me doing the rest of them. Anyway, so I started doing friendship bracelets, like following patterns and stuff over quarantine, just because, you know, it was something to do with my hands, and like I got a cool bracelet at the end, so like why not? And I just thought, you know, maybe this could be like a fun little thing, because then we can all have our own little version of it, and maybe they'll all be a little bit different, like different lengths and stuff, and maybe even slightly different colors, but like we'll know that we have that as like our little friendship bracelet. Cool. These kind of, I think this in total, this bracelet took me like, I think an hour and a half, maybe an hour. Oh, I've finished, so I'm tying the knot at the end. Anyways, my point is that like it feels like it's gonna take a long time when you start, because like the first time you're doing it, you're having to like look at the pattern a lot, but like once you like really get in the rhythm and like you kind of have the pattern memorized, it actually can go pretty fast. So this was like an hour and a half, I think. Okay, so I finished. You can see there's like some frays in the knots. That's because I had some of my end strings were really, really short, but that's okay, we'll cut them off later. So this is the twisty part that I was talking about earlier that I'm doing now. So what you do is you split the strands into two sections, and then you twist them both to the left, and then you twist them around each other. So, to the right. So you're twisting the sections to the left, but the actual big twist is to the right, so that they sort of form this little, like, I don't know what to call it, but it's kind of like just a twist, a circle twist. And they shouldn't, if your sections start to blend together, then you twisted them and then twirled them the same way, if that makes sense. So you twisted the sections the same way, and then you twirled them in that same direction. They have to be in the opposite direction, otherwise it won't work. Great. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, this is just something I do so that the bracelet is adjustable. If you don't want it to be adjustable, you can completely skip that step. And now I'm just cutting off the ends just to make sure they're relatively even. I'm not a super big stickler about them being like all the same length, but you know, I like it to not be really bad. And then, yep, I'm just going through and cleaning off some of the frayed edges so that it's a little bit of a cleaner look. My scissors are really old, and they're a little bit broken. I think one of my friends tried to cut something with them and ended up breaking them. And then they never got fixed, so I just kind of barely try to use them. Okay, so now I am doing part of the thing that makes the bracelet adjustable. So what you need to do is you need to take it doesn't have to be a super long, but a relatively long piece of, I use one of the colors that I use in the bracelet, but you're free to use whatever color you want. And then you basically tie a square knot. So I do 2 to 3 square knots, usually, just because I think that's more secure, but you're going to tie it around that rope sort of section that you made on the bracelet. I'm bad at explaining square knots, so good luck. Hopefully, I don't know, you might have to look up something to figure out what a square knot is, but yep, I do 2 to 3 of those, and then I tie just a regular, like, double knot, I guess, in the back, just so that it, like, stays properly. And then you'll see there's one last little step. You'll cut off the edges so that it's, like, you know, not sticking out. And then there's one last step to help make sure that it like stays that way. So you're gonna put some clear, I used clear like nail polish top coat. I use like dry instantly one because I'm lazy and I don't want to wait very long. But you just put a little bit of that on the square knots that you tied, so that like that double knot area, so that it stays and doesn't come undone. And then you can adjust it. And I've had some of mine for I think like 2 years that are adjustable, and they're still great. So there we go. That's the finished thing. I hope you made it with me, and if you didn't, or you don't know how, or you don't want to, then I hope you enjoyed watching anyways. I love you all. Stay safe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Muted.